Well, good evening and welcome to our CLE. We're recording today on March 9th, 2022, and of course the big news that we keep hearing about is the war in Ukraine that's taking place right now. And I had I think, a very unique opportunity to put together this program and teach us as American lawyers a little bit about what's going on in Ukraine, get some more understanding of what's happening there from the point of view of an attorney in Ukraine. Because our guest speaker tonight will be Ukrainian bankruptcy attorney Vlad Gurtovi, whose history is he resided in East Ukraine in 2014 when he found himself caught in the middle of the Donbass War. And in the course materials, I have a link to the Wikipedia article about that if you want to learn a little bit more about it. He was caught in the middle of this war in this contested region toward the east of Ukraine. And he and his family escaped the chaos by basically moving to the capital of Kiev and starting over again there. And which is exactly what they did. And now, 8 years later, they find themselves caught in the middle of another war. As the Russians began their invasion several days ago. So he being between the ages of 18 and 60 years old, he's obligated to remain behind and defend his country. His wife and teenage children, on the other hand, he made sure that they were sent to safety in Poland, where they are now. So he remains behind. I have a mutual connection with him. We share a hobby in common, namely amateur radio. So it's the opportunity where I get a chance to talk to many people all over the world, including this gentleman who is an attorney, like me, in another country. Radio is off the air over there, as is to be expected since they're in the middle of a war. But he kind of rather thankfully still has internet access. Somewhat limited, but they have power, they have internet, they have water. So even though the war is waging within very close radius to them, they still, for the time being, have some trappings of the 21st century. So I've been communicating with them quite a bit on an internet website, and he has just such a compelling story, talking not only about a little bit about the practice of law in Ukraine prior to all these troubles that they're having right now. But more importantly, I think he's showing us something that we as lawyers elsewhere ought to take cognizance of, and that's the fact that he's one of the leaders of his country. Like you and I, as attorneys, should be leaders of this country, and he's really taken to that leadership role. And he and his family are indeed, I think, the future of Ukraine. Now, as I occasionally do, tonight's program is absolutely free of charge. During the program, I will be giving a number of code words in order to take attendance. And when you hear those code words, write them down, and you will email them to me at the conclusion of the program, so that I know that you were paying attention. Although I think this program, it's compelling enough, I think everybody will be paying attention even without that. So email those code numbers to me at the conclusion of the program, and I will get you the certificate of attendance, absolutely free, no cost or obligation whatsoever. I do these free programs occasionally, usually for a little bit of free advertising. So if you need some traditional CLE, I have a lot of good low-cost programs, mostly covering the rules of professional conduct, so you can get your ethics credits out of the way. And my focus is on Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. But since those rules of ethics are pretty much the same in most states, they will qualify for credits in other states as well. In fact, occasionally I do seek credit in other states. So if you're looking for CLE credits, especially your ethics, please check out my website, richardclem.com, and find some other opportunities. But other than that, the program is free. However, we have a speaker tonight, Vlad, who is obviously not drawing a salary at this point. The economy of Ukraine is essentially on a wartime footing, and the civilian economy is shut down. He's not drawing a salary. He's not. He doesn't have any income coming in. On the other hand, his wife and children are in Poland, in a foreign country, living as refugees. Probably not the. I'm sure there are refugees with less material goods, but they are in a foreign land, depending upon the kindness of strangers in Poland, and I submit they can depend on the kindness of strangers in America as well. So therefore, in lieu of making any payment for today's program, I ask you instead to seriously consider making a voluntary payment that will go to our speaker, Mr. Gotovi, and more importantly to his family. I am setting up some crowd sharing platforms where you can make a donation, and I will see to it that that money finds its way to his wife and children in Poland. I'm making arrangements with his 16-year-old son, who's going to be taking up the responsibility for doing that in Poland. So we'll figure out whether it's going to be a wire transfer, Western Union, or whatever. But for the time being, I will have links to crowdfunding platforms. So please take a look at those, and then those funds come in. I will make sure that they find their way to his family in Poland. Because they have, even though he has no income coming in, they need to pay for their lodging, they need to pay for their food, they have all the normal expenses of a family. So tonight's program is going to be an excellent one, and I respectfully ask that you compensate him for doing it. Again, I'll have those crowdfunding platforms links in the registration page for this program. If you prefer to just send a check, again, I have that information as well. You just make a check payable to my trust account, put in the memo line who it's for, and those funds, just like the funds we receive on the internet, I will make sure that they find their way to the proper place. Now, the format of tonight's program is a little bit different. Communications is difficult. He still has internet access, but it's not solid internet access. At first, I was hoping we could do a telephone conference call. He would just call in at a specific time. Well, calling at a specific time is probably going to be pretty difficult because there is a war going on around him, and some particular time might not work for him. So the trying to do it at a specific time wouldn't work. And also just the bandwidth to send that amount of data over. So what we did is we have a written presentation that he sent to me that much of it was taken from his postings on the internet, and with his permission I put them into a speech for him to give. I did some very, very minimal editing of what he had to say because he has some very, very compelling words. And I sent that script to him for his review, and so I will be reading his words for most of the program, and then at the conclusion of the program we have a short video that he was able to send me from his apartment in Ukraine. So, again, welcome to our program. I think you will find it a very exciting program. Give us plenty of, give you more understanding of what's going on in Ukraine. and I think we'll just be inspired by the courage that's being shown by Vlad. Again, when you hear code numbers during the program, write them down. Send them to me by email, clem.law@usa.net, to get your certificate of attendance. And check out my other programs on my website, richardclem.com. RICHARDCLEM.com. So now, our next part of the program, we will begin with Vlad's words.